Well, you
Love
not
handles.
as much as I do. Well, you do a commercial for that, don't you? to
No,
get rid of
that's
him?
somebody else. That's a bald guy I host a show with.
The other thing he said is no need to draft a running back, really, because James Conner, and I agree with him here. Now, the health issue is the health issue, and James Conner has to be healthy. If he is, I think we saw what he could do like the year before when he was a Pro Bowl player. How do you sit with that? And keep in mind, they only going to have 6 picks here, no first, no third. I think that makes it much more difficult trying to handicap this.
Look, I think I would like to find an external option. I'd like to ideally find like a D'Angelo Williams type, Bob. Maybe Shady McCoy comes back to Pittsburgh on a very cheap.
I like it.
He led the Chiefs in rushing and then got phased out late in the year. Or use a late-round draft pick on a running back. But I am adamantly against using their top pick, a second-round pick, on a running back. And I say that I'm not – look, I love James Conner, the person, but I am still not convinced he can be a number 1 running back. But I prefer the committee approach.
We'll see how it goes. A lot of teams have used that committee approach. Back to the lines we go. Ed in Monroeville, you're first up tonight. What's up, Ed?
Hi, Ed.
Hi, gentlemen. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Pony, totally agree with you about Shady McCoy, by the way.
I like it.
But I wanted to talk about the Pirates mainly as a plea for people just to not go to the home opener. Please do not go. It's one of the few things that would be even more embarrassing for them, and they would have to at least explain it to people. So please, Pittsburghers and Pirate fans, for just one day,
you know, Ed,
stay home.
I've heard this before. It's not going to – people are going to do what they're going to do. And it's not, I think in time, like we saw last year as the season went on, season ticket sales have been down. They raised some prices on season tickets or on tickets this year, which I never think is a good idea following a last place finish. But I never thought that's a way to send messages because, quite frankly, whatever message you send is going to be ignored that way.
Well, it doesn't mean as much. It's symbolic now because so much of baseball and where the money comes from is not tied into ticket sales. Major League Baseball teams, the way the system works, Bob, they're making money before one fan even comes through the turnstile. So sure, empty seats on opening day, your biggest celebration of baseball would be a black eye, but I don't think it's going to cause them to have an epiphany and spend more money, do you?
No. And I was a little bit surprised today. Rich, in his report down in Bradenton, said he talked to Brandon Sherrington, and he has no plans at this point to go out and sign anyone else. So that's it.
So $50 million payroll.
Basically $50 million or less in terms of payroll. And again, I understand this is a new regime. I'm willing to watch and see what they do. But I hate the notion of wasting seasons. I hate the notion of saying we're fixated on 2021 or 22 or beyond. Because
I agree.
To me, you're telling people that you're not going to be a player. And why should I care if you're not going to be a player?
If they're rebuilding, then just don't make it in the front office. Let's get some more of these players out and bring some new prospects in. And if you're not going to do that, Bob, then get on the phone with the Dodgers and get Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling here. That's what the Reds did last year. They laundered.
Yeah, but Peterson's 1 year removed from being is he a free agent?
He had 36 home runs last year.
I understand that, but that's the reason that they won't do that, I would imagine.
Probably what, an $8 million player? Okay, so you bring him in. Stripling's been an all-star. He can be in your rotation. You're spending $12 or $13 million.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I'm just saying that will go against what I think they believe.
What do they believe right now?
They believe that once they get someone close to cashing in, they're not going to give that guy a deal. Although for your situation here, I agree with that because you can bring that guy in. If he has another 36 home run season, you can then trade him.
That's what the Dodgers needed to free up money. They basically dumped Puig and Wood on the Reds.
Right.
So if they're willing to dump those guys, take them. Peterson would be your second best power hitter behind Josh Bell.
I agree. After you give away Marte, sure. All right, Big Al and Robinson. What's up, Big Al?
Hey, Bob, that's your 180th suit. I keep track of your suits. That's your 180th suit. Hey, Bob,
actually, it's 192, but who's counting? Go ahead.
Hey, Bob, here's what I can understand. I umpired baseball in high school. I played the game. I still don't understand how, in God's name, you can cheat in baseball for this reason. You still got to hit the ball.
But if you know it's coming.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. They studied the other pitchers for the Dodgers. They knew when it was 0-2, they knew when pitch was coming. He did 100 times. They knew when it was 3-0. They still got to hit the ball, and you still hit the pitch.
Yeah, but you don't think it's much easier, Al? You don't think it's much easier if you know there is a curveball coming, and you know where that curveball normally is going to end up? You'll have a decided advantage how to hit it. I mean, I find that, yeah, you got to hit it, but if you know that it's coming, the chances of making contact are significantly higher.
Well, no doubt. I mean, if it's not useful, if it's not valuable, then why
are they
such
doing
extreme? Why go to such extent, pour in so many man hours and do so much homework to make it work? You know?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't, if they didn't think it was going to be of a benefit, then they would not do it. They did it. They benefited by it. Now, the sad thing is they're not admitting that they benefited by it. And one guy I listened to, and I don't know if you saw his interview, Justin Verlander.
Oh, the worst.
The
Get him
worst.
out of here.
I mean, he's one of those guys who's not afraid to say whatever he wants to say until today. Then he just curled up and didn't say a thing.
He ripped baseball because he said the way you could grip the ball was the balls were juiced, and he came out of the woodwork to leak that story.
Right.
And now he wants to zip it. I'm with you. That's why I said ban him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something going to linger. I hope it lingers. I hope that every place they go to play, there's some sort of mockery of this situation. Whether that's trash can banging, whether that's bringing in Morse code experts and have buzzers, get a buzzer beater sound every time. Just do it in.
Every time one of those guys strikes out,
it would be funny.
Yeah.
All right, we now move on to our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day, and this one comes to us from our friend Ryan Clark, who's now in the media, and of course. Real Clark 25 has been watching this as well, and he says, if stealing signs wouldn't or didn't impact the game, why was it taking place in the beginning?
There you go. Smart guy.
That's exactly true. All right, why did Spygate? That stuff happens for a reason. They wouldn't keep doing it if it didn't benefit by it.
Right.
So we'll take a break, come back with more. You're watching the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here live on Pittsburgh.